please give a lovely, warm welcome to your next comedian, Benji Waterstones!
Hello. I'm the very forgettable Benji Waterstones. It's lovely to be here in Bristol. Myself, I'm originally from Hull. Hey, you guys from Hull? Oh, nice. I mean, there are one or two grandmas in Hull. But yeah, it's funny, you forget what your hometown's like. I went back there last weekend, and at the Morrison supermarket, I found Edam cheese in the exotic food section. And when the till girl asked if I wanted cash back, I said £30, and she went, ooh! I moved down to London last year with my girlfriend, and our flat there's actually above a Tesco Metro. So I got a club card and I was reading the information leaflet. That's not the best bit, but... And one of the queries answered in it is, if a relative dies, can you get their club card points? And I don't know what it says about Tesco shoppers, but that's under a section of frequently asked questions. Me and Nadia had been together for years, but unfortunately it didn't work out in London. Although looking back, there were signs that she'd leave. Like every morning when she took her contraceptive pill, I'd wonder, well, who is she sleeping with? It's sad because it used to be such a beautiful relationship. Like when she went on a 4-day work trip to Croatia, she sent me a postcard every day she was there with a word on each. First one said, I love Yugoslavia. She was nice about it afterwards, though, we met up for coffees and stuff, and I'd look at her and I'd think, yeah, I'm moving on, but it was like when two trains are sat next to each other in the platform, and you think you're starting to move forward, and then you realise it's them. It's weird living on my own now because I don't really know anyone else in London. You've got too much time on your hands when you're watching YouTube videos and the option comes to skip the advert, but you just watch it anyway. I catch myself calling the numbers on the side of food products too. You know, the ones that go, fancy a chat? And you're like, yeah, I do actually. I was on hold once with the guys at Utterly Butterly. I just called up for a serving suggestion, but you've got to sort your life out when you've been waiting 40 minutes to speak to a margarine spread expert. I think the problem was partly that we moved to London for me. I'm a doctor now, training to be a psychiatrist, and she had a final dig on leaving, saying that working in mental health, I don't save people's lives. But the other day, when I was off work, a patient had a cardiac arrest, and the excellent doctor covering resuscitated them, which would have never happened if I hadn't pulled that sickie. Because working as a psychiatrist now, predominantly I deal with issues like anxiety, low mood and attachment problems. And on top of that, I have to go to work. My heart is in the right place, but I get quite easily distracted. Like the other day, a patient was telling me how voices were telling her to kill herself, and halfway through I caught myself thinking, I really should eat more fish. I realised, though, she was quite poorly, and so I had to section her, which was like the first time I'd ever done it, but she was really angry about it. She said, "Who are you to section me? You're just a middle-class white boy whose mummy probably forgot to pick you up from cricket once, so you thought, I know, I'll be a psychiatrist." And, obviously I was thinking, no, that's not right. It was my au pair. I found myself on the other side of the doctor's desk the other day, might be a bit of an overshare, but milk spots that are usually on your face can grow anywhere, including your plums. And whilst they're harmless, I decided to have them off because being an efficient calcium producer doesn't get the credit it deserves in the bedroom. Lying on the operating table, I told my surgeon I'd thought about snipping them off with nail clippers. And he looked at me like I was stupid, said I could have bled to death because it's a highly vascular area. And I felt pleased I'd not told him that I myself am a doctor. When I came out, I was feeling kind of low and lonely and, getting close to cashing in those if we're both still single at 30 deals. When I met another cool girl, actually, at an evening life drawing class, which is just what I prefer to call Tinder. I do find it funny, the pictures people put up on there. It's basically just advertising. I got matched with this one girl whose profile picture was her looking really beautiful, hugging her similarly pretty mum, which I suppose is a bit like when you get a new roof and it comes with a 20-year guarantee. Yeah, so I sense people go on there looking more for sex than for love, though, because this girl, she started sending me pictures of her boobs and then told me to send one. Now, I'd never taken a picture before of my John Thomas, so with my camera phone, I was experimenting with the angles and the perspective to optimise it. And I thought I'd got away with it until she asked me to photograph it again next to a 10-pence piece. But it was fine, I just used a 5, it looked brilliant. She seemed nice though, so we did go on a date. We went to this pub opposite the hospital where I work, and halfway through the date, my on-call telephone rang. So I took it in front of her and was like, "Give 2 milligrams lorazepam stat, I'll come section them." I know she was amazed, but not as much as the nurse on the other line, who'd only asked me to move my car. She seemed nice though, so she came back to my home. I get a bit embarrassed talking about sex, but basically when we were doing it, and this was for the first time, she said, "Talk to me." And I don't think she meant about current affairs. I didn't know what to say, so she started saying, "What you gonna do to me? Tell me what you gonna do to me." So I said, "I'd like to have sex with you, please." Because I think it's important to be polite even in the throes of passion. So I started having sex with her, but she just kept on asking, "What are you going to do to me? Tell me what you're going to do to me." And after a while, I was just thinking, look, I've been doing it 20 minutes now. A bit upset you haven't noticed, actually. She does this other thing I don't mind. I just find it quite funny. Sorry, this is a bit rude as well, but she says she doesn't swallow because she doesn't want to put on weight. Has anyone heard that? What's that sperm expert over there? Do you know how many calories there are in the average ejaculate? How many?
100, I've been told.
100? What are you sucking? 100 calories? I think you're sucking off blue whales. You're right, I heard a 7 over there. I googled it. I think it's a newer myth because I heard there's only 6, which is the equivalent of a Brussels sprout. Now, considering you're allowed 2,000 calories a day, I just think if your daily semen intake's going to drastically impact on your waistline, you're probably a bit of a strumpet. So yeah, I didn't hear back from her for some reason, and you know, because I don't really know anyone in London. Like, I went to the cinema on my own for the first time the other day, and I was the only person in the screening. But I'm a bit of a worry, and I was like thinking, you know, if there's an American-style cinema massacre now, I'm going to take the brunt of it. And like my eulogy would just sound ridiculous. Like, can you imagine on the 10 o'clock news? A man described by his mother as a well-liked and popular character who was the life and soul of the party has been shot dead. Single 30-year-old Benji Waterstones was killed as he watched Paddington. Alone. On Saturday night. CCTV footage showed him only moments before the event, crying into his popcorn as he clasped a spare orange 2-for-1 cinema ticket. No friends were available to comment. Mrs. Waterstone said her son's death had been made even more painful as Tesco's refused to reimburse his club card points. Thanks, you guys have been lovely. I've been Benji. Take care of yourselves.
Benji Waterstones, everyone!